Your life experience, good or bad, is a gift when you share it with others. At Taxi Chronicles, we allow real riders with real stories to share their gift. So hopefully this episode will intrigue, enhance or inspire you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Morning. Yes, we're back with another rider, another episode. Today we are honoured to have a guy, and he's all the way from East London, and he has a wine business, and he's going to tell us about how he got started, what motivates him, and just general about the wine business. And nice to have you here today, mate.
Yep, nice to meet you too.
So, Ryan, tell us first thing, what kind of child were you when you were in school?
Oh, I was head boy at school, funnily enough. Quite a good boy at school, but I just always into my football, sports the whole way through, to be honest with you. Football mad. But when it comes to school, I did quite enjoy school, to be fair. I really did. PE was my favourite subject, probably, as you would have guessed, but I was quite academic. Maybe the only reason because my mum was a teacher. So I had strict rules at home as well.
So when you say head boy, was that like a public school?
No, I was a comprehensive school in Loughton in Essex, and it's mainly like sort of a prefect style thing. But I think it was more they made me that because of my sports attributes more than anything else.
Okay, so it's something for the other children to look up to.
Kind of, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm with you. So how did you get into the alcohol business?
Well, it's quite, still as it goes, really. I was in a sales company based in Liverpool Street. We were generally selling wine into the public domain, and I was quite good at it. So sort of fell on my feet, really, finding that sales was my kind of background. And then from there, it grew from there. This is about, where are we now? Maybe 13, 14 years ago. And it sort of fell on my feet in the terms of supplying into restaurants, hotels, bars. And then it really just grew from London out to Europe, and then further sort of Middle East into Asia, where the market is now.
Middle East?
Yeah. Believe it or not, into restaurants in Dubai mainly, not necessarily, your other sort of states in the UAE.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is alcohol haram in Dubai?
Absolutely, but you also have a lot of expats, and it's all depending on who you work with in how to actually get the licenses to use that to export to that area. It was something which took a long time to sort of come around, but again, it's relatively profitable in that area. But the main sort of areas that we look at now is the Far East as well. China, Singapore are sort of the biggest payers, if you like, on the export when we're exporting to at the moment.
So, are you exporting to expats really, or are you exporting to locals?
Where's that?
Around the world, anywhere you can go?
Well, no, mainly not just expats, like you say. It's just anybody, anywhere really. It could be somebody, like you say, an expat in France, but mainly for us, it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you.
Yeah, business is business.
Yeah.
So, what kind of alcohols is it you're providing?
Top-end wines, anything from, say, Chateau to DRC Romani Conti, maybe some second growth wines, say Chateau Montrose, mainly wine. We deal in whiskey as well. It's something we've been working into at the moment. But that's a bit of a new market for us.
Okay. So you've been going for 13 years?
Well, I've been in the market 13 years. My company has been going for just over 4 years now.
Okay. So you've had a year or two of hard trying time, but you're still on your feet.
Yeah, well, you could say that. Knees, maybe.
You're on the camp. You get back up, but you're kind of wobbling.
Yeah.
You're going to break through.
It's just a shame, really, because one thing that I found with COVID, and maybe this is a little rant off my chest, is that with the government's support for everybody, and I thought that was fantastic with the furlough scheme, and it's fantastic with the grants for smaller businesses, but you look at the support they was trying to give, restaurants, bars. It was okay with Eat Out to help out, but you look at sort of hotels and suppliers, it's the people like us where we had no support. You look at sort of dry cleaners for hotels, you look at greengrocers and butchers and people that actually supplied the on-trade, there was no support whatsoever. And I understand why, because they have to look at the larger scale of things, where you've got restaurants and hotels, which are big employers. So for them, it's making, realistically keeping the people happy. But I wish there was a little bit more support, because we found it really difficult in trying times. We had a lot of alcohol out there with return a sale, which we didn't get paid for. Lots of companies we work with went into liquidation as a result of that. So it's been quite tough, but I just wish, like I said, there's a little bit more support in helping the sort of smaller businesses succeed and keep afloat, really.
I suppose correct me if I'm speaking from a very ignorant point of view. If you're dealing with high top-end wines, if someone does return it, as long as it's been stored properly, the value is still there.
And absolutely, that's not the case. But it's also when the times that we're taking some wines out of bond, paying 20% VAT and duty, supplying it to a potential client, they're giving it back to us based on the promise that they're going to buy it. And now you're left stuck with duties minus about £2.22 a bottle of wine, but 20% duty on, say, a 25 grand case of wine is a lot of money.
25. I don't drink, but so I had another wine guy in here. He's got his own company.
Yeah.
And he was saying the most expensive bottle of wine he bought was £2 grand for one bottle. Yeah. But I said, I interviewed another guy from Far East London, and he used to be a roadman, but he sells wine. He's made enough money to buy a flat. So he was telling me, when you're buying wine, especially in bottled warehouse, you don't buy one bottle. No. You buy like half a dozen or whatever, or a crate at the very least. Well,
it does depend. Because sometimes I sell single bottles which are super rare. So for example, right now what the sort of Chinese investors and the Far Eastern investors are looking for is top quality names like Petrus or Lafite, but different volumes, so mags, double mags, something where you might have a double mag of Lafite 82, that's super rare, or a double mag of Mouton 2000, which is
1982.
Yeah, 1982 or 2000 Mouton, which are good wines, great vintages, and good formats. So you might only have one bottle of that. I think a Mouton 2000 double mag is probably 10k, maybe more. So it's for one bottle. So it all depends. But typically, if you're an investor, if you're storing wine, you're going to want it in half or full case format. It's just easier to resell, basically.
What's the oldest bottle of wine you've known?
I've got some up here for a Lynch Barge 1945.
Really?
Yeah. I was really lucky I bought it off a wine merchant over in West London.
1945, the end of the war.
Well, exactly. There was only 3 chateaus that produced wine from Bordeaux in that region in 1945, I believe. So it's quite rare to come across something like that.
That's old, man.
Yeah. So it still had all the dust on it and everything.
Yeah, I suppose you wanna keep that dust. It's part of the.
It's part of the heritage.
Don't dust it. What are you doing? I thought I cleaned it for you. Okay, so how much did that bottle go for?
Do you know what? We've actually kept those 5 just to have them on display. We're doing a tasting in a couple of months' time, so we want to take some of them down, try one of those.
You're going to try one?
Yeah, we're going to try one of those.
Really?
Yeah, can't wait for that.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that. But you're right, how?
But
you're going to take, listen.
It's history, drinking history. No,
but it's just like.
But I think they're about. It depends, because they're so hard, because the valuation. I haven't seen any recently sell, because obviously they're super rare. Last time one sold was for about, I think it was 7k, but that was with a bad label. Now these ones are in mint condition, apart from the shoulders, so that the level of the neck of the bottle is a little bit low, which can be detrimental to the price. So I think these will probably sell between £2,000 to £3,000 a bottle, I reckon.
Sorry, how much?
About 2,000 to 3,000 for those ones.
Okay, yes.
But then the same time, I bought a Chateau 1961 off of the same merchant. They'll probably sell for between £6,000 to £7,000 a bottle.
6
to 7 a bottle, yeah. So 6 bottles there, so that's 36 to 40k, I would say.
Do they have you ever heard of a wine from the Napoleonic point? Napoleon's era.
Yeah, I've heard of wines that Napoleon had. I think he had a Lafite actually. Some Lafite Rothschild recently come to light, but I haven't come across anything. No, it'll be like gold dust to me. I think I'll retire.
But even in 1945, I can't believe you're going to open it.
No, you've got to open one. I spoke to the Chateau directly, and they said it's drinking really well. So,
mind you, that makes the other 5 more valuable.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The more you drink, the supply and demand, isn't it?
Okay, what have you learned about this industry that you wish you knew when you started?
That's a very good question, actually. It's a very good. I'd say more networking, and it's all about who you know. Only a couple of years ago, I was lucky enough to be introduced to a guy called Piero Castellea, who's the biggest negotiant in Bordeaux. So having that contact now has really put me sort of streets ahead of where I would have been. But having the confidence and the ability from a younger age to put yourself in those circles and understand that it isn't just about being a good salesperson, it's about getting yourself out there, being known, being visual, being seen, and being in those circles all the time. Very much sort of similar to where I live now in West London. There's those sort of circles where you try to place yourself. I mean, it's not my comfort zone whatsoever. I'm originally from East London, so but to try to be around those sort of people, that's going to influence the market a little bit more.
Okay, that's interesting. What would you say to your 16-year-old self?
Ooh, that's a good question as well. Don't date that girl you did. No, I'm joking. I think really, to be fair, if I said to myself, I would say go to university, because I didn't go to university and I do regret that.
Really, why?
Not just the times, like all the good times I used to visit my friends there and Loughborough and Reading and so on and so forth, but just to maybe have a different path in life as well, because being self-employed is great. I reap the rewards, don't get me wrong, but in the last 2 years it's been extremely difficult. So maybe just to have the ability to
work for someone.
Yeah, maybe be more employable for somebody, because they look at people nowadays with a CV of self-employment for the last however many years as, we don't want you. So give yourself some more options.
I will counter that with this. If there's, first of all, Tesla, so Elon Musk, Microsoft and Apple have all said you don't need a degree to work for them.
That's very good.
Yeah. And obviously when you're building a space station, you probably need a degree
of some sort. Yeah.
You're going to do something. But and the other thing is, the danger is, and I see this with the bankers that I drop just over there, obviously where we're passing in East London, is when you get a job, you get comfortable. As an entrepreneur and doing your own thing, you're always pushing, and you have to make it a thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And you'll be much more successful. So I wouldn't even think twice about the fact that you haven't got a degree.
No, I totally agree with you, and I'm probably always going to be working for myself. I'm that type of person. I just feel like maybe just to expand your life skills a little bit differently. That's the only thing I would say, because other than that, I feel like I've done okay for myself since I've been 16. But no, I agree with you. And again, coming back to that, it was why I had a job interview years ago now, and they said, "Oh, do you have a degree?" And I said, "No, I don't." Blah blah blah. But I said, "Do you mind if I ask why you asked that?" And it didn't matter. Excuse me, what degree I had. They just wanted to know if I had a degree, because it showed that I know how to learn and apply myself, which I think is great in one aspect. But at the same time, like you said, I feel like I probably would apply myself a hell of a lot more than somebody coming out of university, in the terms of like I know how to. Yeah.
And you know what you would have countered that with?
Sure.
You would have said, well, school I learned, college I learned if you went to college, and more importantly, on the job I've learned. So I'm learning every day, and the previous companies have all had training schemes.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely.
In that respect, and then see what they said, because they may appreciate that kind of other foresight.
That's true. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, in that thing. Lars, you've been a great host. Guest, sorry. What's the last question is? What's the impact you want to have on the world?
For me, again, these questions are great. I don't actually, something I'd have to give some thought, to be honest with you, because I can see right now that my outreach isn't maybe as big as I would like, but the impact I would say immediately now is just to give my son a good upbringing, give him a good start in life, for my family, my extended family, and make sure everybody's happy and healthy. That would be great for me.
Okay. Well, where can people find you?
LondonCityVintners.com.
Do you want to spell that?
Yes, LONDON City CITY Vintners VINTNERS.com. It's all one word. LondonCityVintners.com.
And it's on that's the website. Is it on the same on all the social media platforms?
Same on all socials, yeah. Twitter, Facebook, Insta, LinkedIn. So yeah, take a look.
Okay, thanks for that.
Thank you.
And we wish you well. We hope you liked that interview. Don't forget to share and subscribe to get the latest episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economies and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources? Listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Mondays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. British Standard Time.